What if I told you that the most sustainable home is one that already exists? We're going to show you how we're going to take a 117-year-old character home and turn it into a multi-unit net zero family home. Coming into the home, it's a 1908 home. One of the biggest things we had to look at were how we were going to incorporate all of this old material here that you can see and incorporate this into new modern technologies. And how are we going to frame new material into material from 1908? Of course, the problem is, how do I incorporate today's insulation values with existing material that no longer is even close to meeting code?
The character houses are challenging primarily because you're dealing with something that is existing and old. So you often run into interesting framing. The verticals, the studs, were literally nailed to the roof. And it stood for 117 years, which is absolutely amazing, probably because it could just move with any seismic activity. But it is certainly not current code.
Trying to retain structural integrity of a structure that you're literally ripping all the integrity out from underneath it, that takes a lot of careful thought. And this isn't a project that I would just rush into without proper planning. So the floor joists here were a big adventure, and I think a big test of our carpenter's skill and ability. Part of the problem was we wanted to maintain the floor, but we then had to incorporate new beam structures, cantilevers, change of floor plans, and a brand new foundation. So all new load-bearing points, new load-bearing walls, all of this was changed. So adapting to the old 2x4 studs was basically learning more how to incorporate the old studs with the new material. In this case, we simply sistered new rafters to the old rafters in order to meet our retention plan.
What would you tell another builder this kind of project?
Run! A new problem can arise every day, and you have to be able to adapt, think, repair, and stay on schedule. And you need to be able to, call your architect or engineer, and both of these professionals may have different ideas of how you should fix a problem. Structural engineer is only concerned with the structural integrity of the building, your load bearing, your shear. Whereas the architect is still thinking is, well, I've painted this beautiful picture of this home and it needs to look like this. Originally, we did discuss being able to utilize a lot of the salvage material to build prefab panels for our laneway, our secondary building. Unfortunately, working through the science of building the panels just didn't pan out quick enough. But what we have done is we've worked a deal with Eric at VIMA, and he's actually put a lot of that same material aside for us because we're going to use it for back framing. We're going to try to use it utilizing for trim and some feature products. My heart is still in trying to maintain and show builders that this beautiful lumber doesn't belong in the dump. Today I'm here with my good friend Eric from VIMA, and he's handling all the deconstruction for me here at 1908 to net zero.
We started with the reclaiming of the material. We then went to abatement, strip out. After the house was lifted, we came down and removed all the material in the basement that had a lot of value. We are then coming back, removing the whole roof. In that roof, there's a lot of material that we can salvage. There's the actual strapping, the rafters, all great, heritage lumber. There's a lot of reasons why we should deconstruct. Our landfills are getting filled up. We don't have the room to dump and continually demolishing homes. So what can we do? Well, we can deconstruct. And deconstruction is amazing benefits when it comes to all the material that can be reclaimed and used and brought back into the economy. This is material that's coming from 2,000-year-old forests that aren't here anymore. So it's fantastic to be able to give that a second life. Because we have 3 vintages, right? Mm-hmm. Old growth era, 1900, 1920. That's your biggest 2x4 exactly, thickest, heaviest, dense material, right? Oldest. Mm-hmm. Then you go from 1921 to 1945, which is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. They're very similar in look. And then you go from 1946 all the way up to like 1990 we found Douglas fir. which is 1.5 by 3.5. Really, you don't get this material anymore,
That's the hard thing.
right? But we can get enough of it if we deconstruct more, because all the homes are the same. So we'll get more of the material and get it used more, because we're going through so many demolitions, like 3,000 in Vancouver
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Like this is still like a learning curve for us. So
Yeah.
we're still like right now, we're just working off of elevations.
Right.
By the time we're coming here, we already know really square footage wise, we know how much we're gonna need.
Kind of a cool little live edge. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just like the
That'd be a nice little bench seat.
Retrofit is always better than demolition because you don't put a building in a landfill. There's no need to do that anymore. Even if you don't actually keep all of the building, you can actually deconstruct it and make use of the wood that you've recovered. So you get to maintain a lot of your embodied carbon, and it reduces landfill, which is always important. So if you think about it, why can't this be applied to newer construction? Think of the Vancouver Special. They came out in the 60s. People love them. Why can't we make that net zero? Absolutely we can. There is no reason why we can't take any house that is in existence, make it sustainable, make it net zero.
Keeping existing buildings is so important for climate goals because the majority of the emissions that are released in a building's life cycle are in the upfront carbon stage. A lot of times trying to renovate and keep an existing structure and deconstruct and reuse materials can come with a lot of logistical challenges along the ways. And this project helps us learn how to overcome those barriers so that we can keep existing character homes in our beautiful neighborhoods. The Near Zero 2 program is just one of many great programs within Zero Emission Innovation Center. ZEIC acts as a hub to bring designers, builders, owners together so that we can learn, they can try all of these strategies to achieve embodied carbon reductions and overcome the barriers along the way.
Really, these homes were built so simple. They were just, they slapped 2x4s up, threw the floor down, you moved in, and if you were cold, you threw more wood on the fire. And that was about all the science that went into these old homes. So now we're looking at this home, like 117 years later, and you start to think about, I'm only going to have 2 air exchanges an hour. I'm going to be able to heat the house with a candle. And just how far have we come in 100 years? Stay tuned for our next episode where we're going to show you how to do the envelope and the air sealing and how to take this old character home and turn it into a CHBA net zero home. Subscribe on YouTube or visit deepgreendevelopments.com.